Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Pilot Review Show. I am Captain Blade J52, and I'm joined by my merry band of misfit cohorts that you can see behind me and that I'm slightly ashamed of. We have everyone's favorite RP hologram in the back playing Dabo, Artie.
Hello.
And then we have TeacherKirby doing Kirby things.
Yes, I'm always doing Kirby things.
And we are currently on the bridge of the Nandi that I picked up for one of the new Ferengi tunes that I got from our event.
I was going to say, sorry, my husband wants me to say something. We have cookies!
Yep.
Regularly scheduled programming shall now return.
And this is what I have to put up with that you folks don't get to see that goes on off camera.
Oh, be quiet, Mr. I am Skittles.
Okay, that's... Yeah, I got nothing there. I'll give her that.
Yeah.
There's an interesting story behind that. You guys will see that in a few weeks in an upcoming intel report. But, yeah, so now that we've got our inner insanity out of the way, I do believe Neela has conked out from a long work shift. Hopefully he should be back with us next week. But, anyways, we got some interesting stuff to get through for you guys this week. So let's go ahead and dive right into this. And the first thing we have is the Miracle Worker Mega Bundle coming to the console. This should have released for you guys on the Tuesday, the 28th, I believe. But basically, these are the Miracle Worker ships that go along with the new specialization. You get 9 different ones if you buy the bundle. If you buy the Starfleet version, you get the... Well, if you buy the whole thing, you get for Starfleet the Operations Miracle Worker Cruiser Scott class, the Science Daystrom class, and the Tactical Tucker class. And then I'm probably going to butcher these Klingon and Romulan names, fair warning. You get, for the Klingons, the Merek Operations Cruiser, the Antak Science, and the Klothos Tactical.
Good, good.
Then for Romulans, the Nigil Operations. Then the Varl Science and the Tabak Tactical. Yeah, good luck saying those names 10 times fast. But
Nah, they're Romulan. I don't think I could be that fast.
Those names 10 times fast.
And I walked into that. I really did. But continuing on in our stats, we get all of the ships are outfitted with a Commander rank Engineering / Miracle Worker Specialist seat. So you could have up to 4 Engineering or 4 of the new Miracle Worker powers on the ship. You get increased subsystem power in all subsystems plus 30 maximum. You also get a Universal Console slot above and beyond what the ship would normally have. And you also get the Innovation Miracle Worker ship mechanic. They do have a link explaining the mechanic a little bit better. But basically, in a nutshell, I could sum it up for our console players really quickly, is it's similar to the Command Cruiser mechanic, save that you don't really get to pick which benefit you get, and you have to activate your bridge officer abilities in certain orders, such as maybe 2 tacticals and a science, or something along those lines. But some of the buffs are definitely worth it. Go ahead and read some... I'm only going to do the Fed ships because there's not that much difference between them. For our Operations Miracle Worker Cruiser, the Scott class, at level 50 they start out with 45,000 base hull. They get 60,000 at level 60. Shield modifier of 1.15. They're a 4/4 weapons layout, 4 device slots. For this one you get a Lieutenant Tactical / Miracle Worker, Lieutenant Commander Engineering / Miracle Worker, Ensign Science, and Lieutenant Commander Universal. For consoles, we get 3 Tactical, 5 Engineering, 3 Science, 1 Universal. Base turn rate of 6. When we get the console ablative salvage pods. This gets the Cruiser Mastery package and the Stay at Your Post Starship trait. Also has the full cruiser communications. Then for our Daystrom, we have the same hull stats. There's also a 1.15 shield modifier, 4 forward layout, 4 device slots. You get some differences in the BOF layout. You get the Lieutenant Tactical Miracle Worker, and Ensign Engineering, Commander Engineering / Miracle Worker, Lieutenant Commander Science, and Lieutenant Commander Universal. Then you get a 3 Tactical, 4 Engineering, 4 Science, 1 Universal console layout. Get the Delayed Causality plating this go around. Once again, you get the full Cruiser Communications array, or Cruiser Commands. You also get the Photonic Boarding Party for the trait this time around. Then finally for our Tucker class, we have, once again, a 1.15 shield modifier, 4 layout, 4 device slots. This time we get a Lieutenant Commander Tactical, Ensign Engineering, Commander Engineering / Miracle Worker, Lieutenant Science / Miracle Worker, and Lieutenant Commander Universal. For consoles, you get a 4 Tactical, 4 Engineering, 3 Science, 1 Universal. You also get the redirecting arrays trait this time, as well as our full command package for the cruisers, which includes a tracked fire and so on. But I'm going to kind of scroll through the Klingon and Romulans really quick and everything, because it's basically the same stats, slightly different hull and modifiers. But, quick thoughts from our panel.
I've definitely heard good things about these ships from those who have them. Saying that I haven't had the chance to buy them yet, so.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I've heard some really good things about all the different powers and whatnot you can get for it, and just pure fun in a while. Like, it's the same kind of mood that when the pilot ships first came out, I feel. A lot of versatility and everything going on with it. You know what I mean?
Yep. But I'm kind of scrolling through a little bit for some of this. There is a lot of info to go through with these ships and everything. I could read for quite a while, but I doubt you want to hear my hick accent the entire time, so... But...
Yeah, we'll be here all day.
I know, right?
See how it is. See exactly how it is. But, like I say, definitely check out the blog. In my personal opinion, these ships definitely are worth it. I was lucky enough to be able to get to the full 9-pack, so I've got them for all the factions. Like I say, for all of them, I was pleasantly surprised. For the most part, the only one that I really didn't care too awful much for was the Ops Cruiser. Mainly because I felt it was a bit limited in terms of the seating they gave you. Or limiting, I should say, compared to what I'm used to and normally roll with. But for me, they're actually outpacing my Keldon, which is kind of scary for me, considering what I already do with that ship.
Yeah.
And for those people out there, it does seem, from what I'm able to tell, that some of the issues we were seeing with the Miracle Worker were fixed. And it appears my local recorder's acting stupid.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
To take a pause.
I think we will, because it was not getting the sound.
Oh.
Ruh-roh.
Okay, there it goes.
Got it now?
Do we need to add subtitles to the local recorder?
Well, that means I'm going to have to do some creative editing splicing later, but you know.
We got it.
Okay, I just had to restart that right quick, but Yeah, it takes to hissy fits sometimes where it doesn't want to record the speakers that well. So, yeah, we had 9 minutes of no audio on the local. Which means fun times for me later.
Yes, yes it does.
But anyways, continuing along, the big thing I would say for your Miracle Worker is some of the consoles and everything can seem kind of gimmicky, to me anyway, or very limiting into how you have to use them. But they're not bad, I don't think, overall. Just to me, I would have liked to have seen better. The best one, in my opinion, so far, at least for what I do with tanking, is the delayed causality. The Crimson Force Field can be nice, but you kind of have to group them up and stuff, so that is one of the downsides. But the bonuses that you get for the 2-set and 3-set are pretty good, especially the XP bonus. And then redirecting arrays from the tactical version that increases your fire at will duration has actually become a staple for some of my builds. But the big thing I would say for you guys out there is do not underestimate having that universal console. I know I'm kind of yammering on a little bit about the Miracle Worker ships, but when it says universal, it means exactly what it says, universal.
Universal, yeah.
Yeah. So you could throw a straight universal console in there if you wanted to. You could throw a tactical console. You could throw an engineering. You could throw a science in there. So it is a true console slot above and beyond what you would normally get on the ship. So, in theory, if you wanted to, none of them actually have this, but speaking hypothetically, suppose one of the ships had been given a 5th tactical slot. Then you could, in theory, have 6 vulnerability locators on the ship. Or even, let's take the Alps cruisers as an example, where they have 5 engineering slots. If you wanted to, you could have 6 engineering consoles on the ship by loading one into that universal. So you've got quite a bit of flexibility compared to the normal ships when you're picking these up. These, like I say, these are some pretty potent ships. They're definitely not much for looks, but this is one time I would say Cryptic absolutely outdone themselves, and I would say that you're going to be missing out if you don't pick this up. You're definitely going to be missing out. But, yeah, that's pretty much our Miracle Worker bundle. We'll have that in the notes for you guys and everything. I do encourage you to check it out and everything because it is a good deal for the ships. I believe it should still be on sale for that first weekend that they came out. So you'll get the pack for a lot cheaper than normal. But at least that's what they gave it to us on PC for. But yeah, check it out. There's a lot of info to go through. I just kind of skimmed a lot of it. But moving along, we have our glass floor for our console players.
For the console players. So this is pretty straightforward. It's a special project, dilithium only for its requirements. You put it in the special project slot of your colony world, and you will unlock the glass floor in the central area of your colony world. It is quite a nice piece. I think it's very nice looking. So for you console players that want to do it, go ahead and slot it up. What do you guys think of your glass floors if you got them on your fleets?
Well, I don't have them on my my fleet yet, but from what I'm looking at, we're going to have some pretty cool looking stuff, and you know, but we still haven't built the first building yet.
Now that we've got rolling a little bit in my fleet, we've started to pick up steam some. This particular thing, it kind of, to me, reminds me of a giant fish tank. I mean, I know there's water and stuff under there, but just the way it looks, and I know it's not really a giant fish tank, but I mean, seriously, does that not look like a giant fish tank to you guys?
I can see what you're talking about.
It
Yeah, you got
reminds
a little
me
reef.
of It reminds me of like glass bottom boats.
Yes, that's it.
You ever? Yeah.
I guess I could see that.
I lived for 30 years in Hawaii, so glass bottom boat tours were pretty common. So I don't know if you've ever gone out on one, but that's what it reminds me of, is the glass bottom boat tours. I do think it's nice. I gotta say, I do find it interesting, you know. Yeah, we don't have walls, but we got potted plants, we got a glass floor, and now we're gonna have streetlights. You know, priorities.
I know, right? But let's get
And
a little bit ahead of
I am
ourselves.
joking, yes. I am, of course, joking, but yeah.
Yep.
But I do like the glass floor, so if you are planning on doing this special project, I don't think you'll regret it. But it is limited time, so if you're going to slot it, now's the time to do it. And basically that's it for the glass floor stuff.
Yep. But, anyways, we will have this in the notes for you guys. You can check out the before and after if your fleet's not there yet. But, moving along, we have our double XP weekend for the PC.
Yes. Double XP. This is the whole time where you gotta get those lower tunes up real quick and whatnot. Alright, so starting from Thursday, November 30th to Monday, December 4th, you're going to have double XP. That's pretty straightforward there. Yeah. Thought there would be more to talk about, but there you go. It's double XP. I mean...
Oh, well, one thing you can add to that is if you have any of the DOF missions that come out of the lockboxes, now is the time to use them.
Yes, right.
Those will,
Can
yes.
definitely vouch for that.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I got almost 8 spec points out of, what, I think it was 10, 15 of those things. No, it was 20.
I was going to say,
Out of a little
yeah.
over 20, yeah.
for me, I ended up getting at least 2 characters, like 2 brand new characters to 60 by using those things. In fact, that's what this guy is. He's a, you know, because I needed a Ferengi tune, because Ferengi. Still say those dances are disturbing going on behind him. He's just ignoring that. But yeah, especially if you've got tunes you've been looking to work on for a while, maybe you just can't make yourself level past that one certain mission, or maybe you're wanting to farm out some extra spec points. This is when you want to do it. And like Kirby was saying, the best way to get those DOF missions from the exchange, if you can't get them through the lockbox, go to the exchange, type in unspecified. Those typically are the cheapest on the PC that we've observed.
Yes.
And everything. Sometimes you could find the ones that are already open for a little bit cheaper. You gotta kind of shop around a little bit on that. But yeah, definitely look for those. You'll save yourself a lot of time and aggravation. I know the average level that I gained each time I cracked one off was about 2 to 3 levels, bare minimum. Sometimes more than
Sounds
that.
about right.
But yeah, XP weekend, not much we can say about that.
Yep, but get it done before December 4th at 10 a.m.
Yep.
But moving along, we have the PC patch notes. There's only technically 2 of them. Resolved an issue that was occasionally causing a crash in some UI windows, and resolved an issue that was occasionally causing a graphics-related crash.
Ooh, wow.
Foundry
Those
still
are big
unavailable.
ones and really important.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Foundry still unavailable, and a crash occurs when trying to use some demo record functions. So yeah, there's your patch notes. Yeah, it's yeah.
Yep.
When will my Foundry return from war?
That's what I want to know. But seriously, if any of you guys out there, devs, are listening, can we please have the Foundry back? Please? Pretty please? Just saying. You know, because Foundry.
Yeah, even if you don't have all the new stuff in it yet, just Foundry, please.
But,
Yeah.
speaking of new stuff, we have the lighting up the Draenor colony.
Yes. Lighting up the Draenor colony. This is important. You need to be safe at night. Right? So, on your Draenor colony, you can get lamps. So these will light up. Completing this project will add lamps around the colony. The island gets very dark at night. So, you can, of course, get your lamps, your street lamps, and it will light up the colony. And this is, of course, again, a dilithium only project. And you slot it in the special projects of your fleet. It's only available for approximately 2 weeks. And again, you don't have to finish it in that time. You just have to slot it by that time. And so, what are we up to? What? Potted plants, glass floor, and lamps.
Yes.
Am I missing anything?
I think that's everything.
Sounds about right.
Okay. Yeah, so potted plants, glass floor, and lamps. So, this looks like a good project. I think it's definitely, you want to be walking around and be able to see at night, so. Thoughts? Comments?
Still gonna have all that ready before I have the first building built.
Why does that not surprise me, knowing him?
I know, right?
Yes, come to my Draenor colony. Has all the amenities, has lights, has glass floors. It looks beautiful, but you can't live there.
Yep.
But anyway, we will have that in the notes for you guys. I mean, not much to really say. I mean, there is a little before and after thing, but moving along, we have our upgrade weekend for the console players.
Yes. For console, you get to have upgrades. Get to do the twice as many technology points and whatnot to your next upgrade, starting from now until December 4th, which I'm pretty sure they mean by now is a couple days back. Yeah. Apparently on the 1st of December up till December 4th until 10 a.m. You get twice as many technological points on those upgrades. So this is your time to use those Omega upgrades if you have any, the Phoenix Prize Box ones. Just go ham on all your stuff. But yeah.
Pretty much sums it up, I guess. So yeah, definitely get out there, upgrade that piece of gear that's being real stubborn. This is one of the best times to do it. And we should mention as well that it does, and I repeat, does stack with any technology boosters you may already have. So if you have a major technology booster, you plop that in the upgrade window, it will stack to give you 4 times the XP while this event is going on.
It is also worth noting that this does affect your Omega upgrades and Phoenix box upgrades.
He said that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, it's good to repeat it. Some people want to make sure.
Yes.
My brain's just... Okay.
Kirby is slightly inebriated. That's what she's not telling you.
Very, very slightly.
Yeah.
I had a glass of wine like 3 hours ago. So,
Oh, you wuss.
anyway. Oh, shut up.
But, anyways,
Anyway.
moving along, we have Face the Crampliri, which I guess is mine.
Yes.
So, come celebrate your winter holiday with Q in his magical wonderland for the first time. The same winter event will be launching on the same day on all 3 platforms. from December the 7th at 8 a.m. Pacific Time to January 18th at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Return to Q's Winter Wonderland. It says, and I'm just kind of reading a little bit of this and trying to pep it up a little. This year, the almighty Q drew inspiration from ancient Earth folklore originating from a continent called Europe. In said folklore, a half-goat, half-demon figure would punish the naughty. He carried a bundle of birch branches to swat children with, as well as a sack on his back reserved for those especially deserving of severe punishment and torture. His counterpart, called St. Nicholas, would reward good children with sweets and presents, but this figure would give out coal. Naughty children whispered his name in fear. The Krampus.
The Krampus.
So, I guess because Q has a weird sense of humor, we get the Krampiri.
So half Krampus, half Valkyrie?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Pert near.
So yeah, that'll be the big thing we're doing this year, and I believe, does it say what kind of rewards we can get?
A black
at the
nanopulse
bottom.
mechlith is what I see on somewhere. I think I
Yep,
saw that.
at the bottom.
Oh, nice.
Let's see. What it says is, are you ready to face Q's newest challenge? Will you survive long enough to free the kidnapped gingerbread folks? And who will be the true master of the black nanopulse mechlith?
Which I would like to point
There
out,
you
that's
go.
like the best ground weapon I've ever seen, because the mechlith is such a cool thing, and I'm surprised we haven't had one yet. And it's going to be a black nanopulse.
Yeah.
That's just going to throw every RPer out the window going, this is so cool! Look at this!
So basically, it's a black lightsaber, essentially.
Kinda.
But in case anybody's wondering what a mechlith is, of course, you know we've got the batleth. The mechliths, if you remember, in Way of the Warrior, that knife that Worf used to fight the Klingons on the bridge, that is a mechlith. But anyways, yeah, definitely check this out. Everything, it gives some more information on the event that we'll have, and everything for the new thing this year. But moving along, we have our Star Trek Online Follow the Doomsday Machine thing. Yeah.
So it seems like, and I did not have a chance to listen to it, but it does seem like an interesting interesting bit of lore about the fall of the Doomsday Machine. So go ahead and take a look. From what I have been able to listen to, it is kind of funny and interesting. So enjoy.
So yeah, we will have that in the notes for you guys. I mean, I've not really had a chance to go through it yet. But,
Yeah. I've gotten to play
I've
bits
gone-
and pieces, but yeah.
Yeah, I've gone
ahead.
through majority of it. It's really well gone through. He covers all his bases through Star Trek Online and all that. It's pretty nice. It's well made, I have to say.
Awesome. Thank you for backing me up there.
But
No worries.
Anyways,
Okay.
we will have this in the notes for you guys. Feel free to check that out. But moving along, we have our budget build of the evening. And wrapping up our Andorian Escort series, we have our high-end budget this week. Everything, this is what the ship could potentially look like once we've maxed out a lot of stuff, once we've hit the high end. This assumes that we've put a decent bit of time, perhaps a decent bit of EC into the ship at this point. We also typically assume that there is no hard EC upper limit at this point, and typically no hard upper even dilithium limit. However, we do try to keep this a bit on the cheaper side. The only things we typically invest a lot of EC in at this point would be something like the low-buy consoles, buying keys to get those. But if you remember, this actually came about as a result of a request. And for the weapons, starting off, we did assume at the request of the user, that he had purchased some of the Andorian fleet weapons to start us out with. On the front of the ship, we actually have our epic quantum phase dual heavy cannons. Now, if you remember from last week in our mid-range build, this was the item that we took to epic quality. Everything. Then we also have 3 of our Andorian fleet dual heavy cannons. These are DMG ×3 axe. Then we also have the Kumari phaser wing cannons that come with the ship. Then in the rear we also have 2 of our fleet Andorian turrets. Then for our shields, our engines, our deflector, and warp core, we used the Soul Defense set to give a bit of survivability to the ship. Now the Soul Defense set is one that we feature quite often because it is a very good set at the budget level, especially if you want some survival. The good thing about the Soul Defense set is that basically the set bonuses that it gives you, and the individual pieces on their own aren't too bad either. But the major strengths of the set come in the form of the 2 set and the 3 set. The 2 set bonus gives you the free equivalent of a neutronium armor just by having it equipped. It gives you, I think it's 25 all energy damage resist, and then I think it was 30 all kinetic resist, so slightly higher than a neutronium armor, and all you've got to do is have 2 of the items equipped on the ship. Then the 3 set bonus gives you an AoE heal that heals you and allies within range for a pretty hefty chunk of health. That's something that, especially on some of these escorts I've seen, that when they dip down really low in health, I've seen this bring an escort from near dead at like 5% all the way back to full. So it can be pretty potent. And because the Soul Defense set does not come with a warp core, we have to source one out. We have to pick one up from the missions. And for this, we used our temporally phased overcharged core. This is the one from the Butterfly mission. Now, what makes this warp core so good is actually the capacitor that it gives. And it's one that we feature quite often. It's actually pretty much a staple in the budget builds at this point, because it's very hard to beat this core at the budget level. If you were here for the Delta recruitment event some years back now, then you're familiar with a device known as the Temporal Negotiator. That device would cut your bridge officer cooldowns in half for the duration the effect was active. This essentially gives you the same thing in the form of a warp core capacitor. So, with our weapons, we're going full-on cannons. With the set and the warp core, we're getting a lot of the survival from the ship. As far as our devices, we have 2 slots and everything. We typically prefer to think of devices here on Pilot Review as a personal preference type of deal, but there are some devices that if you want recommendations, we do recommend. One of them in particular, because you can pick it up for free during the missions anyways, is the the directed energy modulator, I think is which one this is. I'm brain farting hard today. Oh, subspace field modulator, derp. I don't know why I'm thinking of directed energy. But, anyway, the subspace field modulator, whenever you use this device, will give a bit of resistance while it is active. And the only downside to it is that it does debuff you for a minus 400 proton damage resist. Now, we hadn't been talking about that debuff for a while, because there weren't really a lot of enemies that used it. However, as recent updates have come out, there have been some enemies that have been using proton damage or protonic base damage a bit more, so it is something we do want to bring to people's attention. Some other devices could be the Jevonite hardpoints, any of the batteries you can pick up, like energy amplifier, that sort of thing. Just kind of depends what you're going for. Now, as far as the consoles on the ship go, we did assume that the full 3-piece of the Andorian consoles were being used at the request of the original builder and everything, or the original ship person. Words. So, in our engineering, we have the wing cannons. Then the other two pieces we have are the phaser dispersal array and also the tachyon induction relay. Those come with the Andorian ships themselves, and kind of wanted to touch base on those first. Now, the major changes in our engineering consoles come with the fact that we've actually brought into play 2 of the low-buy consoles at this point. And we bring these consoles into play because we assume at this point this is, the in-game version of the ship. This is what you're going to be rolling with. This is what you've got to work with. And by now, once you get to this point with the high-end, you probably have access to something like this. So, for engineering consoles, we have our binaural infusion circuits. This is one of the low-buy consoles for $200 from the store. And this is pretty much a staple at the high end for a lot of builds. This will give you 25% critical severity for free once you epic it out, and is definitely one of the consoles you're going to want to pick up. This is absolutely nothing to sneeze at. Then, for our next console, we have the assimilated module. This comes from the Omega Reputation. The main reasons we use it is because it gives a bit of crit chance and critical severity. There's some other little stats on it and everything, but that's the main reasons we use it. Then we have our tachyokinetic converter, which is our second low-buy console that we're using on the ship. Now this one gives similar stats to the assimilated module. It gives a bit of crit chance, crit severity, but the good thing about the tachyokinetic is it also gives you a hefty bit of turn rate. So the best comparison I can give is it's an assimilated module and RCS console slammed into one thing and thrown in the low-buy store. So, very potent console. For our tactical consoles at this point, we've picked up 4 of the vulnerability locators from our fleet. These come from the Spire, and specifically we went with the phasers for this go-around. We also did use our quantum phase converter, in this instance, from the quantum phase set. But that's what we have equipment-wise on the ship and everything. But moving along to our skills. Now our skills, this is pretty much a universal setup that we use quite a bit for some of the budget builds, because the original user wanted to have a bit of damage but not gimp himself in the survival area. So for this we have 2 points into hull and shield capacity each. That gives some more hit points and more shield hit points than what you would normally have. We have 1 into shield and hull restoration each. 3 points into our advanced energy weapon training for free damage. 2 points into improved EPS flow to give better power transfer rate and some power regeneration as well. We also have our 1 point in impulse expertise. We have points into improved control X and also into drain X. Everything. We have the advanced targeting expertise. This can offset some of the accuracy penalties to FAW and to scatter volley. Then we have our advanced defensive maneuvering to make the ship harder to hit. We also have all 3 points in our hull plating for free damage reduction. 3 points into advanced shield hardness. This will reduce damage to the shields. Then we've also maxed out the weapon amplification and weapon specialization. This is for free crit chance and severity. Then we also have in our captain tier a point into offensive and defensive subsystem tuning each. This will give free power. We also have improved exotic particle generators for a bit of EPG. And we also have all 3 points in our long range target sensors to offset our weapon drop off a good bit. Then you have either your choice of the hull penetration or shield penetration stat. There is no right or wrong answer here, and you can actually make arguments for either one. But I know I typically go for the shield penetration for some of my builds, whereas Kirby prefers hull. We're saying there is no right or wrong answer. As long as you've got one of them at least, you're doing pretty good. Then, for our last 2 points, we have 1 into warp core potential and 1 into core efficiency for free power at the lower power levels. So that's pretty much what we've got for skills. For our specializations, we went with Intel Primary, Strategist Secondary. This should give... Ooh, and they've got Miracle Worker in here finally. You guys over there have been doing some work, I see. So for Intel, we went with this to give a bit more offensive power to the ship. Everything Strategist to kind of balance it out, because we didn't want to give the person a glass cannon ship. Everything, although we could do that if we wanted. But plus, I think Intel and Strategist do play somewhat nicely with each other. Let's see, over to traits. Take a quick look at our traits. We'll go to our final thing. For our personal space traits and everything, we have Accurate to offset the penalty to Thaw, and also to Scatter Volley. We have our Cannon Training because we're using cannons. We have Fleet Coordinator for free damage based on how many are in the party, including yourself. So that's a free 2% all the time damage boost, up to 10% if you're in a full team of 5. We have Ablative Shell as a nice little defensive trait. It's a decent heal over time and damage resistance effect. Elusive to make our ship harder to hit. We have our Deft Cannoneer, because we're using cannons, gives us a bit of turn rate and inertia when activating cannon skills. Now, we always like to assume that you've leveled at least one of the R&D schools as you're coming up. In this case, we chose the Cannon School. Then we have Last Ditch Effort, because the original person that requested the build was a tactical officer. If you're not a tactical officer but you want to use the build, just swap out the Last Ditch Effort for your own career-specific trait. Then we have Point Blank Shot from House Peg to increase our damage the closer you are to the target. And since this is a tactical tune, we also have a Good Day to Die, which allows us to use Go Down Fighting at any hull level. For Starship traits, we have the best defense. Our attack patterns grant a hull healing buff along with normal effects. We have Unconventional Tactics, which comes from our Strategist, giving Brace for Impact a damage increase for a short time. Then we also have our Improved Predictive Algorithms, which gives us a bit of accuracy for a short time. For Space Reputation powers, we have Advanced Targeting Systems for free crit severity. Aux Power Offensive, which gives us a boost in damage based on our Aux Power. We have Precision for free critical hit chance, and our Chronocapacitor Array to reduce Bridge Officer cooldowns by a decent amount. For active reps, we have Anti-Time Entanglement Singularity, which is a nice little AoE kick in the pants to the enemy. Our Biomolecular Shield Generator, which is the little green bubble-looking thing you see people pop up in missions, that gives a damage reduction and a bit of shield healing to the team. Then we also have Quantum Singularity Manipulation, which gives a boost to our science stats for a short time and a temporary cloaking effect. Now, the boost is actually a plus 100 to all science stats. The best use we found for this is something myself and Kirby and all of us like to do, is we'll drop our Quantum Singularity Manipulation first. We'll follow up with any other exotic boosts that we might have. Then we will drop our Anti-Time Entanglement Singularity on top of that, and you will get a lot more bang for your buck. See, she's already giggling because she knows what I mean. Yep.
Yeah.
And it works pretty well to do that, even if you're flying a ship that isn't normally space wizardry. You can still get pretty good mileage out of your anti-time by doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Then, for our last power, we have the Deploy Sensor Interference platform. This is a nice "oh crap, I'm gonna die" button. You can press this button and it will throw out a little sensor platform that will taunt off of you and keep enemies focused on itself until either it blows up, or the duration runs out, or you die, whatever out of that happens first. But This will allow you to buy yourself some time, duck back and heal if you need to, or get the heck out of Dodge. It just really depends. Then, let's see if I can remember how to work this dang builder. Alright, now for the ship itself, you're kind of limited into what you can do with the stations. You have a Lieutenant Universal, Commander Tactical, Lieutenant Commander Tactical, Lieutenant Engineering, and Ensign Engineering. This is... the exact ship is the Andorian Shirwal Escort, for the Shirwal anyway. This had the best layout that we could find out of the ships, but for our Lieutenant Universal, we went with a science seat. If you want to get any science powers on the ship, you're going to have to make that Universal a science. So for this particular ship, we gave a Science Team 1 that gives a bit of shield healing, as well as purges certain debuffs like a subnucleonic-based effect. We have Hazard Emitters 2. This essentially gives a heal over time effect, a minor damage resistance, and also purges certain things like plasma fires, especially from those pesky Borg torpedoes. For our Commander Tactical, we have a Tactical Team 1, Attack Pattern Beta 1, a Rapid Fire 2, and Scatter Volley 3. Then for Lieutenant Commander Tactical, we have a Chemosite 1, Beta 1 to double up, and because you don't really have too much cooldown reduction into the ship. And then we have a duplicate of our Rapid Fire 2. For Lieutenant Engineering, we have a Engineering Team 1, gives us hull healing, purchases a few debuffs like the Viral Matrix that the Iconians hit you with. Then we also have Reverse Shield Polarity to recharge the shields in a pinch, based on incoming damage. Then for Ensign Engineering, we have an Emergency Power to Weapons 1. So, I hope you guys can kind of see what we're going for there. The build itself, since this is a high-end, did run a bit more expensive. You're looking at 106,500 dilithium total. Looking at 250k fleet credits. And then, taking into account the keys to purchase the low buy, assuming a 7 low buy average per key, you're looking at 263,550,000. So it is quite expensive, and it appears I did not calculate the dilithium back out. But I suppose I can actually do that off screen over here. Assuming it will actually work for me. So you're looking at, if I can type worth of crap. So you're looking at about 13 days. You may as well say 14 days total build time just for the dilithium, assuming you've only got one character running. So it'll take you about 2 weeks to get there on the high end. But again, this assumes maximum level. This assumes you've got the ship to where you want, and it's your in-game ship. But yeah. And I see our resident, what's his face is in chat.
Our resident troll.
Yeah.
Our personal troll. Yep.
Hi, Steve. But, yeah, any comments from the panel now?
And I know I said this last time, but I would change one of the rapid fire 2s into a scatter volley. Get my words out. Into a scatter volley. Other than that, I might on the gear. I might take out the assimilated module, move the quantum phase converter up to there, and then add in another vulnerability locator. But other than that, I really wouldn't make any changes here.
is something that could definitely be
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. And it's a thought, because, I mean, really, it's giving a small amount. The assimilated module's giving a small amount of crit chance and crit severity, but you could argue that another vulnerability locator is going to make up most of that crit chance and is going to give overall a total damage increase. So I think that would be a bit more valuable.
Well, you could definitely argue that. The main reason that I left it in that case, because it is a decent chunk of severity as well. It's about I think it's 11%, 12% once we max it out.
It's about 11, yeah.
I don't remember the exact number off my head, but... And since you've got the tachyokinetic converter on there anyway, you can definitely argue that. But, point being, you've definitely got some options with a build like this, with a ship like this, and everything. It is why we give banter like this, to make people aware of the options, because we don't want people to just think, oh, this is the only way you can do it. The way we show it here, if you do it any other way, you're going to screw yourself over. That's definitely not what we want people to think. The builds that we give are basically templates and everything, what we personally would recommend, but feel free to experiment with it. And if you can make changes and do better, then heck yeah, it's even better. But anyways, this finishes out our Andorian Escorts series and everything that we've had going on. If you guys have any ideas for budget builds, like I say, please let us know. This entire series actually came about because of a request and everything. You know, let us know what you want. Just tell us, you know, hey, I want this type of ship. I'm at this budget. What can you guys do for me? And we'll definitely see what we can do to help you out. But as far as the bugs corner goes, this is actually one I'm looking at hopefully getting some of your guys' help on, and especially get more info to the devs. Now, there was a few instances, it seems to be very isolated at this point, to where myself and another good friend of mine, we signed in to a couple of our characters, and we noticed some of our ground gear had gone missing. We had just equipped it on the tunes. Thankfully, he and I both didn't lose a lot. I had stuff I could replace it with very easily. Most of the stuff he lost was white quality gear from leveling, so nothing really lost, but is still a very disturbing bug to see happening. I've heard reports of other items going missing, such as dilithium. All that's a little bit of dilithium. I've heard of a space weapon go missing. In one case, a guy lost a Romulan engine, which did show up about a week later in his inventory. So, I've been trying to figure out a trigger for this on my end. I know I've sent info to Kale, and hopefully they're able to figure something out. But if you've noticed something missing, like that you know for sure was supposed to be there, such as you signed in and half of your gear is gone, you know, let them know, because that is definitely not supposed to happen. And like I say, I'm asking you guys, you know, let them know, tell them, hey, this is what happened. And they're good about working with people with that stuff, everything. But that is one of the big ones I did want to point out. I am working on some other stuff as well, basically just your run-of-the-mill stuff, but yeah. You see, if you guys have any bugs and everything, feel free, let me know, let these guys know. They'll be sure to get it to me. We'll pass it along to the devs and everything, because they don't like bugs any more than you or I do. But anyways, that's our bugs corner for this week and everything. Moving right along, we have our teacher's corner for this week. What have you got for us this week?
Yes. This week I have it's kind of a follow-up or a continuation of exposing my viewers to traits. ship traits specifically, and so this time I chose the ship trait all hands on deck. And all hands on deck has some nice things that it does. It cools down your science and captain abilities every time you activate a tactical or command ability with a 5-second lockout. So this is very, very handy, and I kind of explain why in the video. Well, not kind of. I do explain why in the video. Comments, questions, thoughts?
Well, I use the ability quite well, and as someone that regularly keeps an eye on these videos, I find this one extremely helpful because I've seen people not understand that trait too well, and I feel like this video really explains quite a bit, so people can quickly go, all right, that would be something to use, or go, I could use it for this build, maybe a different build, but it's all simple, explained out, so I find it very useful.
Well, thank you.
Actually, kind of glad you did this one because a lot of people, they like to buy the new ships and everything. They don't think about going back to some of the older ships, like the command ships, for traits like this. And for me, this is one that I still use on my high-end tanks, and I use on pretty much all of my tanks. Saved my butt many a time.
Yes, it has, because one of the things, science abilities, hazard emitters is the science ability, and that trait can save your butt.
Yep. Well, the hazard emitters, Psi Team, a lot of the good science heals and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But definitely encourage you guys to check out this video from Teacher and everything. This is, in my opinion, a must-have trait if I was going to name one. But yeah, we'll have that in the notes for you guys so you can check out her video and everything. Very informative. But coming up on our final segment of the evening, we have the RP Corner with Artie. And what have you got for us this week, dude?
Alright, so I talked to a few people a few friends of mine that have been role-playing quite frequently, and then realized that and most times when their characters are by themselves, or before they start an RP, or sometimes after when they're all hanging out at the bar or something, they've gotten themselves into little games that they like to play, like just something to keep themselves occupied, or to be a little character point, like, yeah, that person likes to do this game and stuff like that. Well, I took a little bit of a poll, and I came up with 3 games that I've seen in a few RPs. Alright, so the simple one, darts. Yes, I'm talking about, I take this little pointy thing and throw it at a corkboard and hope for the best. Yeah. As you see in Deep Space Nine, it's apparently a very popular game. So I've seen a few people actually get into a little bit of a roll system that close to 100 you get, the closer to the bullseye, that's easy enough, but most times they just like, yeah, we're all playing darts, but we're actually holding a conversation in the RP. We don't really care about the game itself. But it's a little bit of a booster to, make the RP feel a little bit more realistic when you're hanging out at the bar. Now, this next one is something that a friend of mine actually came up with on his own, and it's called Angry Warbirds.
Oh god. Oh god.
The pun is, yeah.
Well, basically, it's, as you can tell, it's a run-on gag with Angry Birds. What I've seen a couple players do is just have them on their pads, just playing Angry Warbirds, trying to knock out a bunch of Klingons or something. I don't remember what they actually had. My friend had all the details written out. I wish I had it all.
Do they put the Warbirds in a good lord, in words not coming to me at all, in a thing, and fling them
slingshot?
across the... Yes, thank you. The
There,
slingshot.
there's been a few times where I've asked for more details. They're like, yeah, just sometimes you got a little talus, you launch it, and it fires a plasma torpedo as it flies over its target. You get it the Derrick, it just rams into, making a giant explosion with a singularity core. I think at one point he was like, yeah, and this is a scimitar. Flies up, and then the screen goes white. Bitter on pulse, and just ends the game. I'm just like, okay. Very angry Romulans. But yeah,
like it.
it's just, yeah, he's on his pad right before everyone gets to the bar or something. He's just playing the game, and we're all like, hey, what you playing? Angry Warbirds. And then immediately tosses the pad so nobody wants to play the game.
Yeah.
And this next and last one, I've only picked 3 for this little poll that I made. It's something that was a little bit more noticeable. It was originally made as a Foundry mission, and I sadly don't remember the author that created it. If Foundry was on, I would be able to tell you guys that. Sorry, but basically it was Dungeons and Dragons holodeck. And as play on words, the Foundry author called it Dungeons and Devidians. Because it worked. Well, it was a loosely based, tabletop game, as you would say. Just playing along on a holodeck, and as most times it works, it had a little bit of a story. Why do these guys not have swords and shields, and why do I not really feel like I'm in a fantasy landscape? Well, the mod author kind of pops his head and goes, yeah, I had to cross with it with a actual combat training sim, so that's why you see these guys with disruptor rifles and grenades and whatnot. So have fun. I hope you didn't bring an actual sword. I mean, you may actually need some actual guns here. But yeah, it had quite the actual Foundry mission had 3 or 4 actual missions for it, but for RP purposes, I've seen people go in and actually reference this Foundry, and it's such an interesting lead in sometimes, because you'll just start out an episode of Star Trek and be like, oh, they're walking out of the holodeck, I wonder what program they're running, and they're just starting to talk about it and giving details, and you're like, yep, that's exactly what just happened. You just see a bunch of your friends just walking out of the holodeck going, hey, what's with the gruffy fur coat and all that? I was beating up a Klingon. Didn't realize I would be doing that in Scotland. So. But yeah, those are some of the games during RP that I've seen. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys out there have anything you want me to talk about RP-wise, send me a message, comment, throw up a flare. I see flares sometimes. I'll talk about it. I will go ham on it, and hopefully you will enjoy it.
Yeah, that's... I don't know what to say about some of that.
You're still stumped on Angry Warbirds, I can tell.
Yeah, slightly. I'm just like, really?
Dungeons and Devidians with angry Romulans?
Well, I mean, the sad thing... I mean, the funny thing is that... Give it about 200 or 300 years when we're actually in Star Trek times, and I guarantee you somebody's going to be playing something like that. I guarantee you they will.
Quick,
Yeah.
start reviving all the old app games now.
Yeah, pretty much.
I still like the Angry Warbirds title. Now I'm gonna see all Warbirds going in a slingshot and just whee!
Oh, God.
And, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if I actually had all the notes still, to top it off, it was like each ship that you actually see in STO, like, the Talus, the Tavaro, the Derrick Mogai, whatnot, all the way up to the Scimitar, not counting all the newer Republic ships like the Hakona and the Haffy and all that, but a lot of the older Imperial Romulan kind of ships, he had like special abilities in each one. So you had like the regular Talus throw the like the plasma warhead, like you see in Balance of Terror. Yeah, and then and then one of them was like, yeah, it just cloaks, and then appears behind whatever you were shooting at and just wipes it out. I was like, okay, overpowered much.
Well, I mean, don't forget the scimitar just goes up to the middle and screen turns white.
Yeah,
Thaler
hit her
on
on pulse
for
everything.
the win. I mean,
I feel like that's like you have to like go. All right, you know what? I'm gonna spend some gold press platinum on this. I'm gonna get a pay to win
that one,
button.
Yeah. that is a bit pay to win. Yeah.
So I've got to ask you.
Ferengis would make millions on that.
Millions?
Yeah.
Millions.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you're a little underestimating there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Try billions. Perhaps trillions.
Yeah. True.
Galactic wide.
True.
But anyways, that's what we've got for you guys this week. Everything. Quick shout out to our good friends over at the Temporal Armada. Very cool bunch of people. Everything. Very good radio program. Definitely check those guys out. Also, another shout out to our other good friends over at the Kurtang Pirate Radio. Very chill bunch of people. Everything. Definitely check out their radio program as well. It's two good radio programs you guys will enjoy. But also, if you've got a budget build you'd like to see us do, please let us know. Tell us, hey, this is the kind of ship I'm looking for. This is what I want to do. I want to be a space wizard. I want to be a tank or a damage dealer. Whatever you want to do, let us know what ship you've got. What you want us to do, let us know your budget level. Say, hey, I've just got a bare bones, or I'm looking more for a mid-range, or I'm looking for a high-end, and we'll see what we can't do for you guys. If you'd like help with your piloting, please let us know. Maybe you think your equipment's in good shape, but you're not entirely sure you're getting all you can out of your piloting. Send us a brief little video clip so we can kind of see where you're at, what you're doing. We'll help you go over that and help you improve in that area. But if you've got any topics as well for Teacher's Corner that maybe you're having trouble understanding a certain trait or where to get something, let TeacherKirby know. She'll do a video for you guys. If you've got any RP stuff, let Artie know. He's pretty good with coming up with stuff. If you've got any bugs, feel free, like I say, let these guys know. They'll get it to me. Let me know, directly if you've got my @tag in game and everything. Just say, hey, this is what I'm seeing. All that stuff. If you can get video, if you can get screenshots, that's even better. But, anyways, folks, that's, like I say, what we've got for you this week and everything. That sort of stuff. Hope everybody had a very good Thanksgiving. Everything, but
Yes.
ate plenty of turkey.
Gobble gobble.
And there she is. But
Hey, I had a good Thanksgiving. We played games at my family dinner, and in the games we talked about power moves and yeah, statistics, and what else did my uncle say? Oh, crossroads. We were always coming to a crossroad. Yeah. These were the things that my uncle was always saying, and my uncle is from Austria, so he has the Arnold Schwarzenegger accent. So
oh, good lord.
yeah. So it was quite funny.
I got to watch my two cats fight over some turkey that we brought home, which was kind of funny. But anyways, folks, thanks for joining us again this week. And hopefully Neela will be back with us. He's had to put in quite a few hours as of late and everything, so his schedule's been kind of hectic. A little bit of poo, if you know what I mean. But anyways, folks, for now, this is the Pilot Review Show, and we're signing out of here.
I'm gonna go eat my cookie.